Hello. Hello, Maria.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this second and final series of the Meet the Funders. So today we will meet Horizon Europe and especially Maria Yeroyanni, who is a senior expert in innovating cities in the DG Research and Innovation. And we will have another colleague from the European Research Agency, REA, who is going also to join us in a while. Her name is Emanuela de Mena, and she's replacing Ugo Guarnacci that we had announced in the morning. So we will have Maria and Emanuela, who will present, first of all, a bit the context of this new cities mission that was launched by the Commission last November. And also, Maria, she will present also some current and upcoming calls that concern also cities. And I think we will close also the session with a presentation of the City Science Initiative. And of course, at all times, I'm going to ask our participants here to send their comments or questions in the chat. And when Maria will end her presentation, then I can also invite you to join the stage and take the floor and see your face. So Maria, welcome once again. Thank you for coming. And I'll give directly the floor to you to present your slides.
You are muted.
Yes. Maria, you have to click on the button with the microphone so you can unmute yourself.
Just in the center of the screen, you have a button, the camera, micro, share screen, and you have just to click on the microphone. Maybe refresh, it's open. You have to click again on it. Click again on the button. No? Okay, can you refresh your page?
So just a few more minutes. I guess in 1 minute, Maria will be back. In the meantime, perhaps before Maria joins us, perhaps you have any questions that you'd like to ask already in the chat. And now I can see Maria is unmuted, so welcome back, Maria.
I made it. Thank you very much, and thank you for your patience. So I will try to catch up, and you may share this presentation just tonight after I receive, and then you will have all. Don't take notes. You don't need to take notes. Relax and follow the presentation because you will have everything and the web pages and everything for you. So if you could please start sharing my presentation. Okay, my presentation focuses first of all on what we aim to do as policy initiatives for the framework program Horizon Europe, and especially on the EU missions and the cities mission climate neutral and smart cities. I will be doing the policy part, and Emanuela, she's in another. She had to stand in to replace Ugo Guarnacci, also working in the same unit with her because he was taken up by our director in another commitment. But Manuela is in another parallel meeting, so she will be joining just at the end. And Emanuela will present an example, 2-3 concrete examples of already funded demonstration projects where we have 8 to 10 participating cities. So next one, please. So the objectives of the mission as you know, the two main objectives of the mission, which we wish to implement by 2030 and then by 2050, is climate neutrality, is to deliver the first set of 100 climate neutral cities by 2030. And then these cities will serve as guides to help and support the rest of all European cities as innovation hubs, to help and leading the pathway and helping the rest of the cities as examples to become climate neutral by 2050. But of course, in the meantime, 2040, it depends from the preparedness and commitment of each European city. Next one, please. So the main elements of the mission and the main deliverables, if you want, of this mission is, first of all, together with the launching of the Climate Neutral Cities mission, which took place beginning of October, and where you have the web link and the webinar, which is launching, where we launched the mission, where there were 200 participants, among them most of the participants were cities. They asked a lot of questions and we replied. So it's a very good webinar to get acquainted with what we're doing in the cities mission. So together with launching the cities mission in October, we launched the mission platform. This is a platform which will be supporting these first selected cities to become climate neutral, and they will be supporting them and doing a co-creation with them, guiding them also to find other financial supports and other financial means, private investments, for instance. And so they will be supporting the cities, and they will co-create, this mission platform will co-create with the Commission and will co-create with the first 100 cities to become climate neutral, the so-called climate city contracts, which are not binding legally, but it is a proven evidence of the commitment of the city mayor of the XYZ cities to become climate neutral. So as you see, there will be the deliverable of, and the main element of this mission is so tailor-made help depending on the conditions, local conditions, climate conditions, typology of each city which has been selected to become climate neutral. So these cities will be guided and will be supported to reach climate neutrality by 2030. They will be the front-runner cities helping the rest of the European cities to become climate neutral. And what they will receive a mission label, as we say here. So this mission label that they became climate neutral cities, so they want this mission label, of course, will unlock other synergies with other programs. So there are a lot of opportunities for these first 100 cities. Next one, please. So for the cities, possibilities for funding, so is having participated in the call for expression of interest, which closed 31st of January. And at this point, I take also the opportunity to thank Jenny and URBACT team for their dedicated support to make cities aware and to raise awareness and to disseminate the information that we had this call for expression of interest. So this call was to invite cities which are prepared and they are committed to become climate neutral by 2030. The deadline so expired. We received 377 applications, and now we are in the process of evaluation. So we will evaluate now and select. In spring, we will know the exact number of cities which made it and which were selected in the pathway, the first cities for the climate neutrality pathway by 2030. I repeat, this is a very important timeline for us. So at the same time, so we will have in parallel two things working. One is the result of the call for expression of interest, these first cities which are building their plans to become climate neutral with the help of a dedicated mission platform, and helping them so to sign and to co-create these climate city contracts, committing them to climate neutrality, and at the same time in December, this last December, we launched the call for the Cities Missions work program. So there are the standard routine calls, if I can call them like that, from Horizon Europe. So this is another way to support the cities mission and to support the cities. Now, if you ask me who is participating in this call, of course, the cities which were selected in the first cities to become climate neutral following the call for expression of interest can participate also in the call for proposals, standard call for proposals under Horizon Europe and the calls of the cities mission. But of course, these calls are open to every other city who wishes, who did not make it, who did not express interest, or who did not make it in the call for expression of interest and wishes to participate and be funded by the Horizon Europe calls. However, one has to bear in mind that since we're talking for a work program of a climate neutral mission cities call, the ultimate objective is climate neutrality, always. And zero pollution. And of course, again, we have the same objective, and we always apply the ultimate objective of the cities mission, that we are aiming for climate neutrality by 2030, and then by the next years, 2040 until 2050. And of course, aligning with the European Green Deal, aligning with the EU Zero Pollution Action Plan, the Biodiversity Strategy by 2030, the new UN Habitat New Global Agenda, the Urban Agenda for the EU, the Fit for 55 strategy, and of course, the new European Bauhaus initiative for aesthetic, sustainable, inclusive cities. Next one, please. So these are the aims for the work program in Horizon Europe of the calls. And so here I just put a brief overview of the calls. Everything is explicitly said and explained in the Horizon Europe calls announced on the internet. And I just want to elaborate on the main focus of these calls. So there is a call on urban planning and design for just, sustainable, resilient, climate neutral cities by 2030, here aligning also with the new Leipzig Charter. As I said, these calls, then there is a call related to urban mobility. There is a call related to calling for, apart from the mission platform, which we launched, there is another opening and call for a framework partnership agreement. So it's again a mission platform to support the pathway to and our actions to climate neutral cities. There is also a call on positive clean energy districts. And another important call is to strengthen the international dimension, because we're talking about the European cities mission, but we are opening also the international dimension of this cities mission by launching a call on a global cooperation in exchange on urban climate neutrality. In other words, this is a global knowledge center that we are launching. Is a support coordinated action. And the aim is to exchange the best practices, not only at European level, but to twin with international cities and exchange knowledge and best practices. And of course, it is to link better the European mission with the existing, if you are aware, mission innovation, international cities mission, which also was launched later during COP, and for which we're also working, but that mission focuses mainly on clean energy and renewables. However, we consider the mission innovation the international dimension of the EU cities mission. And in order to better link these two missions, the European mission with the international, having the focus on energy, as I said, we are launching this support coordinated action. We're creating a global knowledge center where all urban stakeholders, city stakeholders from Europe and beyond can exchange the best solutions, best tools, best practices. And always, of course, the ultimate goal is climate neutrality and Green Deal. And next one, please. So there are also other calls. I'm not going to elaborate on them. I suggest that you see the work program, and then whatever you have, you can contact me or the mission secretariat. I will give the website. And the most important is, remember that there is a deadline, closing deadline of these calls in April. So what I would like to say is that this city's mission will not replace the Covenant of Mayors, or any other existing program initiative, but the aim of the city's mission is to build synergies. And of course, the cities which are funded by either the Horizon Europe call, and they earn a call and the proposal within that, I would say for the cities participating here is urban mobility, energy positive districts, urban design and planning, 3 calls for them as demonstration projects. Who would earn this, or who would have been selected by the call for expression of interest. In that case, they will have the mission label of the first climate neutral cities. Next one, please. And of course, we are aiming to have synergies of national networks with regional networks. So everybody is on board, and this mission leaves no one behind and outside of this great operation, first ever for the European Commission history and DG Research and Innovation history. So what are the qualifying criteria for the cities to participate in the open call of Horizon Europe, and which is closing in April? So it is the threshold of the population, first of all, 50,000 inhabitants. The principles and as qualifying criteria is that these projects, proposals that you will be submitting and presenting within Horizon Europe calls, is that they have inclusiveness, they have diversity, you ensure the geographical balance. And of course, it's these cities should prove evidence that they have a level of preparedness to become climate neutral, and of course, commitment. I would say that we are trying, and we did that already with the call for expression of interest. We try to encourage not only the usual suspects, the big cities, but also to include small cities, forgotten cities, peripheral cities. This was the same concept for Horizon 2020, but we tried, of course, to align and to continue in Horizon Europe, having in mind that we want on board all kinds of cities. So through geographic diversity, South and East Europe, North and West Europe, and of course the city's commitment to involve citizens and all stakeholders, because this is a mission for citizens, and the climate city contracts for the expression of interest, but also the proposals within Horizon Europe mission calls are co-created. The work is co-created, co-implemented, co-designed with the citizens and for the citizens. Next one, please. Okay, these are very useful links. And for instance, the call for expression of interest, this ended already. But okay, I would suggest still that you have a look at it so you are informed, even if you have not participated. I would also suggest that you register to the city's mission newsletter so you are aware of the calls and of all news and what is happening, what reports are published. Also, if you have questions and something is not clear within the work program, or you wish to have some news for our calls, for results, whatever, you can contact directly the city's mission secretariat. You see it's there. And before that, there is a standard website, frequently asked questions. This is not a dead website, it's a living website, because we are continuously all the questions and replies that we receive, and we reply we are putting them in this website. So I would suggest that you consult first this website, and you occasionally often consult this website. And if something of your question is not replied, please contact directly the mission secretariat, or just contact me and I will forward your questions. I will try to help. Next one, please. Yes, that was some. I think that I mentioned this information already. That we received an overwhelming number of participating cities to the call for expression of interest, and we look forward to the evaluations, to the selections result, and to announce and inform you which are the cities which have been selected. Next one, please. Okay, and I will give just a few information on what we're expecting very briefly on the calls. Now, the Horizon Europe calls, which are open and which close, the deadlines are in April. So the first theme is on urban planning and design. As I said, so we are promoting the holistic approach and co-creative approach, mainstreaming local knowledge, but also I would like to say making use of what already exists. So don't forget to check reports which have been published, so that you avoid overlaps and that you know what has been already presented. And for instance, like the yearly mapping report, EU Research for Innovation, and cities, with cities and for cities, where we mapped all the Horizon 2020 projects. And so you know what has been done and which are the existing networks, which are the existing initiatives, the stakeholders that you can contact. I see that Emanuela joined us, so I would like to leave some time, since you are receiving this presentation, I would like to leave some time for Emanuela. Maybe, Emanuela, you could refer to the yearly mapping, which we did together, and then present some concrete examples of ongoing projects so that the cities have an idea of how they can be involved in our research and innovation projects. Thank you very much. From my side, thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you very much. And before we give the floor, I welcome Emanuela. Since I'm looking at the time, and I'd like perhaps to bring first a bit our participants into the discussion, and if they have any questions. So you can either share your screen and audio and step onto the stage, or just write your question in the chat. I do have some questions already, Maria, I have to say, because now you know that we have mainly participants from cities that are involved in action planning networks. So our participants are about to finalize their integrated action plans, and they will be seeking for funding from now and in the coming months. So I was wondering, so you presented that there are 5 calls right now open, and there will be a 6th one in later on. So I was wondering, if a city decides to participate in these calls, what exactly, what kind of actions will be financed? Is there a possibility that perhaps, if it's relevant also in terms of the topic, some actions can be financed, some actions of this integrated action plans can be financed in addition to the research activities that are foreseen in the call?
Well, normally our program is research and innovation activities and actions. And it's not really for building infrastructures. In this case, there is the URBACT program, and there are the regional structural funds, where a city gets support, financial support, to build an infrastructure with the objective of an innovative infrastructure with an objective, for instance, to become more socially inclusive, to become a healthy city, to reduce air pollution. For us, so these cities come to our program having built these infrastructures to work with a research innovation plan and program and research innovation activities. Maybe that is why I think that this kind of questions should come after the presentation of Emanuela, because Manuela will tell us exactly, giving 2-3 concrete examples, how we have funded cities and what was the role of the cities in the Horizon 2020 projects, because we are a research innovation DG, so we follow the same principles for Horizon Europe.
Very well. Let's hear them from Emanuela. Emanuela, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Jenny, and thank you. Good afternoon to all the participants. So I suppose I pick up from where Maria stopped in the presentation. Just to let you know, I'm working as project advisor in REA, the European Research Executive Agency. We are managing as an executive agency of the European Commission programs funded by the Commission, and more specifically, we are dealing with the research programs. So now Horizon 2020 and Horizon Europe. And specifically, we have a large portfolio of Horizon 2020 projects dealing with cities. So this is why I'm going to present some examples. So if you can go to the next slides, I will be really brief and I will show you a couple of examples of how our projects are delivering on projects funded under Horizon 2020. I think this is still a previous slide. If you can go on the next one. I don't know if now we are still with the topics. Can you go to the next one? Okay. So, okay, I will comment briefly also on this, and maybe Maria already mentioned City Science Initiative, which is led by the GRC, the Joint Research Center, and the City of Amsterdam. It's a very important initiative, which is bridging the gap between science and policy making. So it is a network of cities in which they have a chief scientific officer, which is dealing exactly with this, keeping together these two dimensions. And they have specific themes which they are working on, like on climate change, air quality, technologies in the cities, mental health, circular economy, and sustainable mobility. So for the cities that are assisting, you are welcome to join this network. And you can move to the next slide. And here you can have also the link to join and to see how it is. It's free of charge, so really the cities can join and then join one of the thematic group according to their interest. The next one, and I will show you now, since Maria mentioned, what are some examples of EU-funded projects. I suppose that among the participants, there are already some that know, because there are many connections between cities, and probably some of the cities participating in URBACT action are also funded under Horizon 2020, our beneficiaries. But in any case, for those that do not know, I show you a couple of examples. The first one is this Reflow project, which is a project and innovation action, which was one of the actions that Maria was mentioning. So implementing, really deploying actions in cities. It's an innovation action on co-creating circular and regenerative cities, resource flows in cities. Reflow is dealing with urban metabolism in the framework of circular economy, and is putting together the different components of the circular economy, and not only from the technical point of view, but also from the governance point of view and from the business model. So in a systemic way, how the different parts of the circular economy can live together in a city to make the city really circular and regenerative. And as you can see here, there are 6 pilots: Berlin, Amsterdam, Milan, Vele, Cluj-Napoca, and Paris. 28 partners. The coordinator is the Copenhagen Business School, and the funding is almost 10 million euros for a 3-year project. So they are implementing in each pilot different actions linked to circular economy, linked also to Fab Labs and urban makers. For example, they have wastewater heat in Berlin, how to make it more common. In Amsterdam, they're working with the deal for denim, so they are reducing the impact of the denim fabric and textile. In Milan, they're working with the urban markets and with innovative apps to track the food and to avoid the waste of food. In Paris, they are working on exhibition, and how in this exhibition you can track the fair and really the material that enters and that is used for the fair and that can be reused, and so on. So these are just to give you an example, and of course then I'm available if you would like to ask some questions. And I can go to the next slide. I will show you a second project, which is a Centrino project. And Centrino project is dealing with urban regeneration. In this case, it's about industrial historical sites which are undergoing transformation and becoming new productive and creative hubs. So it has a lot to do with both abandoned areas that can be transformed in cities, and it should be transformed in a way that there is a new forms of production in city. So about the productive city, it's very nice because Maria was mentioning the Leipzig Charter, and really this is one of the pillars of this charter. And see, maybe there are some issues with the connection. And this project is really using digital technologies, Fab Labs, makers for these creating these creative hubs. The project is directly led by city. So it's the city of Milan. There are 20.
Yeah, I think we're struggling about with hearing Manuela. I think she has connection problems. Let's see if she manages to reconnect. But in the meantime, perhaps what I'm going to do is that I'm going to bring Christophe Gouache on the stage. Christophe, if you can connect, please, because you have a question, I guess, for Maria.
Hi, yes. So, thank you to all of you for sharing these EU calls. Yeah, I have a specific question. We have a bit of a unique network called Active Citizens working on setting up participatory democracy in local governance. And we came across a research call on the future of democracy. And we believe that this could be a great place to propose something together with our cities. Would cities fit in this goal? Of course, we know it's a research project, so we would take on board universities and research labs and so on. But we could see cities as potential living labs and spaces for experimentation.
Can I ask you a question, Christophe?
Yes.
You said that you came up with a call, Future of Democracy, but is this in which call it is?
So I just pasted it again in the chat.
Okay.
It's called the so it's
I'm going
part
to
of
open it. Yes,
Horizon Europe, Reshaping Democracies.
Yes. Well, normally all stakeholders, because you are a group of stakeholders, could I say NGOs?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, so normally you can participate in this course, and I try to open the call to see. Okay, this is not under. First of all, it's not under the mission. It's not under the city's mission, but as I know, since the program now is open for, and then you would have to ask, specific questions to the officers who are responsible for this call.
Okay, so it's a slightly different
Okay,
department.
yes.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Exactly. But to my understanding is that normally, since as cities or as NGOs, you can participate in the calls. But for sure, there is somewhere is mentioned a general web link where you can ask specific questions.
Okay, great.
I wanted to ask you, as active, since you have the NGOs on active citizens, have you been also in contact and link to, for instance, the City Science Initiative? This is something this is very interesting. I would suggest, but you have to have cities on board with you.
Yeah, we have plenty of excited and very volunteering cities.
Perfect. So what I would suggest is that you, first of all, sign up with your cities and also as NGOs. You can sign up in the network of the City Science Initiative, because it is an effort. It's a new initiative aiming to better connect the academia with city municipalities. So I think you are very well fitted there.
Sure.
And for this specific call, I would suggest that you send a general question to be on the safe side to the web link. And also for the city's mission, I would suggest that you follow the newsletter and you follow the website. And and there is a whole network out there which you can find in the report yearly mapping, and get in contact with them and participate in the calls as NGO in the city's mission calls.
Okay, great.
Apart now from this specific call which you shared with us, for which I would suggest for specific questions to contact them directly.
Yeah, okay.
Emanuela, maybe you have, since I see you are again back with us, you have any piece of advice to Christopher?
I think she's
left again, Maria. I think she still struggles with her.
Okay.
Maria, that also gives me a good step to perhaps clarify some things, because Christophe, he mentioned another Horizon Europe call that's not under your own responsibility, let's say, because in the DG Research and Innovation, there are different clusters, from what I understand, and each cluster, which is a more thematic cluster, they launch calls on specific topics they work on. So what Christophe mentioned, this call on the democracy, is under another cluster, and under this clustering of calls, there is even another call about food systems that we recently also shared with specific cities in URBACT working on the topic. So yeah, there are different actually opportunities depending on the topic. Maria and Emanuela, I have another question in the chat, which is can you tell us if there will be new calls specifically on urban regeneration of historical cities as hubs, creative industries, something like that?
Manuela, maybe you want to take up this question?
I'm really struggling, Emanuela. We cannot hear you.
Maybe use headphones.
No, it's your connection.
Emanuela, we cannot hear you. Or what I suggest then is if you can respond in the chat.
Just, Emanuela, can you try to just turn off your camera? Yeah, I can. And now? Can you say something? Okay, now it's your connection.
Yeah. So I suggest, Manuela, if you can please respond to the question, if possible, to Mirna's question that you can see in the chat. That would be really also helpful. Otherwise, I have another question, Maria. So for this,
if I can say something, there is a dedicated unit on cultural heritage. And I can share it, Jenny, with you, and then you put it with all the participants. But normally, the Horizon Europe calls are annual. So I presented the work program for the cities mission call with the ultimate objective, climate neutrality. So everything is leading there. So urban design and planning, urban regeneration is of course included, and then urban mobility, energy positive districts, everything is leading to climate neutrality. Since historical buildings and buildings of historical value, we have suggested with Manuela that also we consider the adaptive reuse of the buildings. Normally, if you see the detailed work program, also in my presentation, but also in the Horizon Europe call, I think you can for sure find elements to address buildings of historical value already in this open call. But you have, of course, to see and follow the exact instructions of the work program, what can be funded this time and what would be funded in a separate call. I mean, in the next 23-24 edition of the work program, always speaking about the cities mission call. Apart from this one, which is the cities mission, there are, as you very correctly put it, there are possibilities within digital research and innovation. There are other programs like the health and well-being. There is the cultural heritage program. So there are a lot of calls, annual calls coming out from them, and I think already they are out. I'm going to connect you and to give you the name. I put it already here of the responsible for cultural heritage, and please connect with them. Maria Kaya Manidu. I put it here, cultural heritage. So she will direct you to one of her officers, and you will have all the relevant information for detailed and dedicated calls to cultural heritage and cultural buildings per se. Okay.
Excellent. And then as a follow-up, Maria, I mean, I can also send these contacts and also emails. I can include the emails so that it's easier for our participants. Maria, can I ask you something else regarding how cities can apply? I know from the past experience that there should be consortia applying to the calls. This is the case again, I suppose, for these calls that we presented. Is it easy? Is there a matchmaking mechanism that you have foreseen to allow perhaps interested cities to find partners for consortia?
Interested cities to find partners for consortia. I would suggest that these cities check the yearly mapping report. And so in the yearly mapping report, we have all the existing consortia, and these consortia are reapplying again. Also, interested cities, they need to have a coordinator, and then to join an already existing consortia or form a new consortia. That's why we also introduced with Manuela the City Science Initiative. The City Science Initiative is also a network of cities, 45 signatory cities, who will be doing in a breakdown, of course, of cities according to the themes. There is a theme on urban regeneration, there is a theme on mobility, another theme on energy, on climate neutrality, historic buildings and cultural cities. Is not yet a theme, but could be a theme. So there are cities interested. And in this, they know all the latest news and what is happening and where they are submitting, and they're really very, very well informed. So I would suggest that they join, they can find this information under the web link that I have under the City Science Initiative, or directly contacting me, and I can guide whichever of the cities interested. I see there is a reply by Manuela that there is a public event of 3 Horizon 2020 projects. I think this is a very interesting public event for cities interested in urban regeneration, including the adaptive reuse, transforming historic areas into productive creative hubs on 2nd March at 2 o'clock. And of course, there will be presentations from different EC services and will present funding opportunities in the field. So we really encourage you to subscribe for this event, and you can contact again either me or Emanuela to help you register.
I can see another question. Will these priorities and topics be the focus in the calls of the next work program? When are these calls expected?
Okay, you mean for historic, we're talking about historic buildings. Again, historic buildings and adaptive reuse, this kind of issues? This is your question?
I don't know, perhaps Marco, you would even like to join us on stage? Yes, he says that's right, Maria.
Okay. Okay, as I said, there will be annual calls. Apart from us, we have now the urban design and planning and urban regeneration. This call is open right now, but there will be for sure annual calls coming from the program which is dedicated on cultural heritage. And so this is the name, the unit that I just shared with you. Kaya Manidu is the responsible from the unit, and she's also dealing with cultural partnership, the cultural partnership. Yes. Okay. Okay. But please have a look also in the work program of the city's mission and the explicit part of the urban planning and design. And of course, please check in the yearly mapping where we mapped existing consortia and existing projects. Maybe Manuela, you could put some cultural projects like rock. I remember now myself, you could put it on the chat to see the existing consortia and a city who is interested to participate, maybe to directly network with, because some of these consortia are coming back, of course, again, with new consortia. So there is, in the yearly mapping, there is rock, there is ruritage, there is open heritage. There are some very nice projects dealing with historical cities and cultural cities. I don't know if Manuela can hear us and put in the chat. Otherwise, please put the word just in the search of this report. And in the annexes also, please put the word historic or the word culture. And I can also, we can share afterwards, Jenny, and you can give the names of these projects and consortia. These are very big consortia of this. Okay, I will read the session. Please put this, please bear in mind that these are big consortia of 35, 40 participants, 45 participants, where when they meet, there are 100 stakeholders, 110 stakeholders, and where you have 8, 10, 12 cities inside. So it's really, really very, very holistic approach and inclusive. So I would suggest to check what exists already there and find your partners. So you can use experienced old partners, but also new partners.
Thank you very much, Maria. I don't know if Emanuela can has perhaps a fixed care connection. Emanuela, I don't know if you want to take the floor before we close, and if there are any other questions before we end the session. In any case, what I'm going to do, Maria and Emanuela, I'm going to share with our participants all the contacts and the links that you mentioned, including this yearly mapping report where we can see all the consortia. This will be very helpful indeed. Is there any other final question or any final statements from your side, Maria and Manuela?
Something else which I wanted to mention, and I did not mention in my presentation, is that together with the cities, let's say the climate neutral smart cities, we launched also partnerships in Horizon Europe. So in case some cities are really, they wish to go to calls through their member states, I want to draw your attention to the DAT. So I'm going to put it in the chat, so then you can also find it. It's called DAT, Drive Urban Transitions Partnership. And this focuses on circular cities. It has adaptive reuse in calls, inclusiveness, citizens' participation, behavioral change. This partnership, once it starts running, will be launching annual calls. So on different themes, but these calls will be going is a co-funded partnership. So we are giving a percentage of the funding as commission, and then there are the member states. There are 24 member states participating in this partnership. So Margit Knoll is the coordinator of this partnership. This partnership is a continuation of GPI Urban Europe. So I suppose you know GPI Urban Europe. And so this is another chance for being involved and getting funded, but then you have to go through the channels of your member state.
Thank you very much, Maria, for all this information. Really interesting. Thank you very much also, Emanuela, for joining us and for giving us these examples. I will share once again these links and contacts with all our participants. And if there are no questions, then thank you very much, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow morning for the last day of the e-University. And tomorrow, this is the final edition of the Meet the Funders today. So tomorrow afternoon, we will have a slightly different approach where we will have our national URBACT points presenting and inviting cities to present good funding opportunities at the national level. So thank you very much and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Emanuela.